All right, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to call this workshop to order. Thank you for being here today. It is 9:30 a.m. on November 29th, 2023, and this is the scheduled time for the workshop to solicit comments regarding proposed changes to Chapter 583 of the Nevada Administrative Code. This workshop is being held in person at the University of Nevada, Reno Cooperative Extension Office at 1085 Fairgrounds Road in Winnemucca, Nevada, zip code 89445, as well as virtually via Zoom using either computer or telephone to ensure all wishing to participate may do so. This workshop has been properly noticed and is being recorded as required by Nevada open meeting law. We are recording today's meeting for those wishing to view at a later date. My name is Shada Sanjita. I am the project manager for the Nevada Meat and Poultry Inspection Program. The following NDA staff is here in attendance. Please state your name and title.
Alyssa Townsell, the Meat and Poultry Program Educator.
Now I will be reading off of the names listed on the sign-in sheet. If you haven't placed your name on the sign-in sheet, please do so before you leave so that we may keep an accurate record of who attended this meeting. We have Dan W. Bell here in attendance. For those participating via Zoom, we will say your name and record your attendance for you. We have Julia Miller Ketchum. Julia, could you please unmute and let me know if anyone else is attending with you?
Julia Miller Ketchum with Nevada Department of Agriculture, and I'm here by myself.
Thank you. Lisa Burnett, could you please unmute and let me know if anyone else is attending with you?
Lisa Burnett, Nevada Department of Agriculture, and I am alone.
Thank you. Doug Ferris, could you please unmute and let me know if anyone else is attending with you?
Doug Ferris with Nevada Department of Agriculture, and I am here with Director Goykagia.
Thank you. Shelley Pope, could you please unmute and let me know if anyone is in attendance with you?
Shelley Pope, Nevada Department of Agriculture, and I am alone.
Thank you. Doug Busselman, could you please unmute and let me know if anyone is attending with you?
Doug Busselman, Nevada Farm Bureau. I'm all by myself.
Thank you. All right, for those attending by Zoom, I will go over a few housekeeping items. We'll be using some of the features of Zoom for those who have joined us through the online platform. At the bottom of your screen, you'll see participants in chat. Click on chat to open the chat box. Next, locate the participants icon and click to open. Find your name on the participant list and hover over your name. A raised hand icon will appear. This is what you will click to participate in roll call, and if you wish to speak during public comment. Click it again to lower your hand after speaking or to withdraw the request. If you don't find the hand by hovering near your name, use the three dots at the bottom of the screen to open a menu where you'll have the option of raising and lowering your hand. For those participating by phone, you can raise your hand by pressing *9. We have muted everyone to reduce background noise. If you wish to give public comment, please use the hand raising feature and we'll call on you to ensure your mic is unmuted. Those on the phone can unmute themselves when called upon by pressing *6. If you have any technical issues during the meeting, try the following. Turn the video off to see if the connection improves. Leave the video meeting and either try to rejoin or call in using the phone number and login information from the agenda. If you're having problems getting unmuted or into the comment queue, use the chat function to make your comment and it will be recorded for the record. In addition to public comments during this workshop, interested parties are welcome to submit written public comment and by email to ssanjideh@agri.nv.gov. If you are attending in person, please sign the attendance sheet. If you are virtually attending, we'll be using the participant list for the record. If we're unsure of your name, we may send you a message so we have the correct information in the meeting minutes. If you're joining via phone, please send an email to ssanjideh@agri.nv.gov indicating you participated in today's workshop or remain on the line after we close so we can capture your information for the meeting record. I will provide you with an overview of the rulemaking process so that you have background on the state of Nevada's current regulations and where we are making proposed changes. During 2022, the agency began the development of a meat and poultry inspection program funded and administered primarily by the NDA. NDA staff were tasked with reviewing the NAC. As the first step, NDA reviewed the existing Nevada Administrative Code language, updated sections due to federal guidelines, reviewed other state programs, and calculated program costs. The draft we're reviewing in this workshop is the most updated version of proposed changes. These changes were submitted to the Legislative Council Bureau, LCB, for review and comment on, and were then sent to the NDA with LCB's response. Next, the department distributed a small business impact survey for industry input. The information was compiled and a statement was included with this workshop notice. This workshop is being held to review the proposed changes and receive public comment to help shape the final proposed language. Additional comments may be submitted following the workshop up until December 15th, 2023. Following the workshop process and once the Legislative Council Bureau has provided input and approval to move forward, a hearing and intent to adopt proposed regulations will be scheduled and noticed. Public comment may also be made before, during, and after that hearing. The draft coming out of the hearing process is then adopted by the department and submitted for review and approval by the Legislative Commission. After approval by the Legislative Commission or subcommittee to review regulations, the Legislative Council Bureau will file the regulations with the Secretary of State. This is the point the adopted regulations would become effective. Agenda, you will see that we will start with a period of open comment for anyone wishing to speak about concerns or to provide feedback. We ask that you limit your comments to 3 minutes to ensure everyone can be heard. Following open comment, we will review the proposed changes to NAC 583, followed by time for questions and clarification. After questions, there will be another period for additional public comment on the proposed changes. Those who wish to speak during public comment are requested to raise their hand, either in person or virtually, and when called upon, identify themselves by name and any affiliation for the record. Again, please save your questions for after public comment at the conclusion of the review of proposed changes. There will be time for questions and dialogue at that point once all information has been shared before we move on to the next round of public comment. At this moment, we will open the first period for public comment for anyone who wishes to provide comment for the record. As a reminder, please keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. If we have no one providing public comment at this moment, we will go ahead and we will move on to the review of the regulations. The department is proposing changes and additions to Nevada Administrative Code, Chapter 583, to allow for a state meat and poultry inspection program, while also providing clarification for custom meat and poultry processing operations. We will review these proposed changes in detail. For a state to be able to develop and administer their own meat and poultry inspection programs, the state must operate in a manner and with authorities that are at least equal to the federal inspection program. This program is a fee-based program. The department did not receive general funding, and this was taken into consideration when reviewing the fees. The proposed fee program is based on the cost that the department would incur in order to operate a meat and poultry inspection program in the state of Nevada. This program takes into special consideration the cost of ensuring that Nevada citizens are provided with a safe meat and poultry inspection program that focuses on the public's health and safety. I will now begin the review of the proposed changes today. Section 2 through 11 of this regulation defines certain terms that relate to the inspection of meat and poultry. Again, sections 2 through 11 of this regulation define certain terms that relate to the inspection of meat and poultry. Section 12 of this regulation requires a person who wishes to operate an official establishment to submit an application for a permit to the department. It establishes fees to obtain or renew a permit and requires the applicant to submit certain plans for the construction of the official establishment covered by the permit under certain circumstances. It also establishes a fee for the review of such plans by the department and establishes certain provisions governing such permit. Section 13 of this regulation requires a person who wishes to operate a custom processing establishment or mobile processing unit to submit an application for a license to the department. It establishes fees to obtain or renew a license and requires the applicant to submit certain plans for the construction of the custom processing establishment or mobile processing unit covered by the license under certain circumstances. It also establishes a fee for the review of such plans by the department and establishes certain provisions governing such a license. Section 14 of this regulation requires the holder of a permit or license to operate an official establishment, custom processing establishment, or mobile processing unit who intends to remodel, renovate, or alter an official establishment, custom processing establishment, or mobile processing unit as applicable to, before performing any such work, submit to the department a plan detailing the proposed changes and a fee for the review of the plan by the department. Section 15 of this regulation authorizes, with certain exceptions, the department to grant inspection services to each person issued a permit or license to operate an official establishment, a custom processing establishment, or mobile processing unit if the permittee or licensee satisfies certain requirements, and it requires the department to notify a permittee or licensee if the department grants inspection services to such person. Section 16 of this regulation establishes certain requirements for the construction, design, and use of a mobile processing unit. Section 17 of this regulation establishes certain requirements for the construction, design, and use of a mobile processing unit. Sections 18 through 21 of this regulation establish various requirements relating to the sanitation procedures used and the handling of certain food products in a mobile processing unit. Again, sections 18 through 21 of this regulation establish various requirements relating to the sanitation procedures used and the handling of certain food products in a mobile processing unit. Section 22 of this regulation requires a custom processing establishment or mobile processing unit to comply with certain provisions of federal law. Section 23 of this regulation requires a person who holds a license to operate a custom processing establishment to tag each animal for slaughter and carcass of such animal as not for sale, and keep products for custom processing separate from other products under inspection. Section 24 of this regulation requires an inspector to mark certain equipment, utensils, rooms, or compartments that are not sanitary or could adulterate a product with a Nevada rejected tag. Section 25 of this regulation authorizes the department to detain or embargo meat or poultry in a custom processing establishment or mobile processing unit if the meat or poultry does not have proper identification or the meat or poultry does not comply with certain requirements. Section 26 of this regulation requires each person issued a permit or license to operate an official establishment, custom processing establishment, or mobile processing unit to comply with certain federal laws relating to the humane methods of slaughter. Section 27 of this regulation requires each person issued a license to operate a custom processing establishment or mobile processing unit to keep records in accordance with certain federal laws and authorizes the department at reasonable times to access such records. Section 28 of this regulation authorizes the department to issue a written warning to a person who holds a license to operate a custom processing establishment or mobile processing unit who is suspected of committing certain repeated violations. It provides certain requirements for such a warning and authorizes the department to perform an inspection to determine if the violation was corrected and charge a fee for such an inspection. Section 29 of this regulation authorizes the department to suspend a license to operate a custom processing establishment or mobile processing unit under certain circumstances. It authorizes a person whose license was suspended to request a hearing before the department and authorizes the licensee to apply to the department for reinstatement of the license. This section also authorizes the department to charge a fee for the reinstatement of a license. Section 30 of this regulation amends NAC 583, section 010. It adds reference to the United States Department of Agriculture and reference to Title 9 of the Code of Federal Regulations, Part 301. Section 31 of this regulation amends NAC 583, section 020 to provide clarification on the type of establishment. It also removes reference to the Board of Health and adds reference to the department. Section 32 of this regulation amends NAC 583, section 030. To add reference to the United States Department of Agriculture and to include poultry and poultry food product. Section 33 of this regulation amends NAC 583, section 040 to add reference to poultry products. Section 34 amends NAC 583, section 050 to include poultry and poultry food product. It also removes reference to the state health officer and adds reference to the state quarantine officer. Additionally, it removes reference to the Board of Health and adds reference to the department. Section 35 of this regulation amends NAC 583, section 070 to add reference to the United States Department of Agriculture. Section 36 of this regulation amends NAC 583, section 231 to add reference to the Secretary of Agriculture of the United States. Section 37 of this regulation amends NAC 583, section 350 to add reference to poultry and poultry food products. It also provides clarification of the United States Department of Agriculture. Section 38 of this regulation amends NAC 583, section 370. It removes reference to the Board of Health and adds reference to the department. Section 39 of this regulation amends NAC 583, section 380 to add reference to poultry and poultry food products, as well as humane handling and clarification of the types of establishments being official establishments, custom processing establishments, or mobile processing units. Section 40 of this regulation amends NAC 583, section 390 to add reference to the types of establishment, as well as for use in intrastate commerce. Section 41 of this regulation amends NAC 583, section 400 to add reference to the type of establishment and to provide clarification of the United States Department of Agriculture. It also provides clarification on the method that must be used with any animal that is suspected of being affected with any disease or shows symptom of disease. Section 42 of this regulation amends NAC 583, section 410 to add reference to poultry to include the language for Nevada inspected and passed, and to provide clarification on the type of establishment. It provides for what should be done to any meat or poultry which is not fit for human consumption. Section 43 of this regulation amends NAC 583, section 420 to add reference to poultry. Section 44 of this regulation amends NAC 583, section 430 to provide reference to poultry and poultry food products and to provide clarification on the type of establishment. It provides reference and information about sanitary conditions in such establishments. Section 45 of this regulation amends NAC 583, Section 440 to add reference to poultry and poultry food product, as well as providing clarification on the type of establishment. It also provides reference to the Poultry Products Inspection Act. It provides for that custom processing products must be labeled not for sale, and for how shipping containers of poultry must be marked. Section 46 of this regulation amends NAC 583, Section 450 to provide reference to poultry and poultry food products, as well as providing reference to the type of establishment. It provides for which products may not enter or be inspected at any official establishment. Section 47 of this regulation amends NAC 583, Section 460. Provides for that no person may offer for sale or transportation any meat, food product, poultry or poultry food product, which is subject to the provisions of NAC 583, Section 211 to Section 500 inclusive, unless they are properly labeled. Section 48 of this regulation amends NAC 583, Section 470 to provide reference to the types of establishments. It also adds reference to poultry and poultry food products. Section 49 of this regulation amends NAC 583, Section 480 to remove reference to the Board of Health and to provide reference to the department or the officer. And it provides reference to Nevada Revised Statute 583, Section 543. Section 50 of this regulation amends NAC 583, Section 490 to provide reference to poultry or poultry food product. It also includes the Poultry Products Inspection Act. Section 51 of this regulation amends NAC 583, Section 510. It removes the section and then provides clarification to the Secretary of Agriculture of the United States Department of Agriculture. It provides for the sections of the Federal Meat Inspection Act. Section 52 of this regulation amends NAC 583, Section 520 to remove reference to the Health Division of the Department of Health and Human Services and instead references the department. And it provides clarification on the agricultural marketing service of the United States Department of Agriculture. It removes reference to the Board of Health and references the department. And it provides for which regulations are adopted by reference. It provides for which sections of Title IX of the Code of Federal Regulations are adopted by reference. It provides for which parts of the Poultry Products Inspection Act are adopted by reference. It provides for which parts of the Humane Methods of Slaughter Act are adopted by reference. It includes how these regulations may be accessed online or obtained. It provides for review of the adopted by reference sections by the officer. Section 53 of this regulation amends NAC 583, Section 530 to add reference to poultry and poultry food products. It provides for which exemptions are adopted by reference from the Federal Meat Inspection Act and the Poultry Products Inspection Act. And Section 54 of this regulation repeals NAC 583, Section 300. The text of the repealed section is officer defined. Officer means the state health officer. All right, we are now available to take any questions regarding the proposed changes. A quick reminder for those online, please use the raised hand function to be called upon. Be sure to state your name and any affiliation for the record, and please limit your comments to 3 minutes or less. As a reminder, for anyone who has joined on the phone, you can raise your hand by pressing *9, and once you've been called upon, you can press *6 to unmute yourself. All right, I'm not seeing any questions, so we'll now move into the second period for public comment. Anyone wishing to make a statement for the record and consideration may do so now. Again, if you're joining us online, please use the raised hand function. And if you are joining via phone, press *9 to raise your hand and *6 to unmute yourself when called upon. All right, I'm not seeing anyone who is wishing to provide any public comment at this moment. I would like to thank everyone for joining and participating today, and the NDA will take any comments that we do receive into consideration during the rulemaking process. Following the workshop process, there will be a hearing for adoption of regulations scheduled and communicated. This notice for the hearing will be posted not less than 30 days prior to the hearing date and will provide instruction as to how to provide written comment and a deadline for submission of comment for the purpose of being included in the official record of the hearing for adoption. Thank you for attending today. This workshop is adjourned as of 10:12 a.m.